Hey y'all, just wanted to welcome y'all to month 2 of the Eclectic Readers Club and have a couple quick thoughts about our topics this month. We have chapter books paired with local and regional. So first of all, for chapter books, I had always meant for the group to be for all ages, all reading abilities. So within it, we have everything from picture books up through chapter books, and it's meant to be a spectrum where, a chapter book can be that easy reading very first chapter book, or it can be some thick, massive tome. It doesn't really matter which way you want to go with it. It also does not need to be read by the child. It can be, it certainly can be read by them, or it can be where the family's reading it together, or it can be an audiobook. We've even done Stuart Little off of YouTube. There's many ways to do it. My son loves audiobooks. We read aloud daily here as well. And now that he can read on his own, he does a lot of that too. But we enjoy books in every which way, shape, and fashion. So for the younger kids or the ones not reading yet, don't let the genre of chapter books stop you for a second. If you've never done audiobooks before, you can sometimes get like a free trial to Audible. For us, though, through our local library, we have access to both Hoopla and Libby. So if you haven't tried them before, you might want to check first with your library, because sometimes with your library card, they do offer a certain access. Like with Hoopla, we're allowed 4 books a month. Libby is unlimited. So you might want to check in if you haven't done it and just see if you have some free access. Also, libraries a lot of times will have books on CD. So that's another option. And then, so there are books out there on YouTube. They kind of come and go. People, I think, aren't really supposed to have them. And with Stuart Little's busted up, so like every chapter, we had to go search for the next one. So it's a little bit more difficult. But in a pinch, YouTube can really serve you for trying to find read alouds. Like a lot of times if we're doing... for instance, we did Math with Confidence, and in that it has picture books that go along with the math concepts, and a lot of times our library didn't have them, but I could always find them as a read aloud on YouTube, and often multiple versions of it. So that's one way to go if you've got a younger crowd who wants to find a way to access chapter books. Secondly is local and regional. So whether you're doing it with your family or in a group, y'all can just decide for yourselves, what does that mean? Because it's really going to be dependent on where you live. Like, we're in a really small town. We do actually have some local authors. They aren't necessarily writing chapter books. They were, and again, they weren't necessarily ones that are accessible to younger readers, but we do have a fair amount of local authors for how small of an area we live in. But if you're in a big city, it's probably going to be pretty easy to find something like New York City or Chicago. There's going to be plenty of that. But if you're in a smaller area, you really got to think, like, does it mean right here in my town? Am I talking about my state or province? It might even just be a real region, for instance, like the Rocky Mountains. If you're off in Colorado, maybe that's what it is something set in the Rocky Mountains. Like for us, we tied in a few different ways where we tried to go really specific as close as we could. And then we also did the whole state, but also we're within the Appalachian Mountains. So we went for that as well and pulled that in because we have themes of all of that running through our area. So just decide for yourselves, like, what really speaks to you in terms of local? How close do you need to get? Or is it like, if it's a smaller country, is it simply an author from that country or a book set in that area? Because that's the other thing is, does the book have to be set there? Or is the author from there? So that's, again, it's not something I wanted to set in stone. It's everybody can decide for themselves, what does this really mean for us? So we kind of just tried to do a mixture of that and have books set locally, as well as one author that we had read was at least from the South. So it was close enough. So yeah, just roll it around and see what makes sense for you depending on where you live and how regional you need to be. But in the meantime, stay reading, stay curious, and keep exploring. And we will see you for month 3. Have a good one.